I had a 32 Ford pickup, just like the car we were in all morning. Yeah, that's a Woodie, but basically the same car, except it's got a pickup on the back instead of being open. Jan had a 57 Chevy, turquoise and white, fuel injection. That's what we started out as.
Cars are a big part of surf culture. Obviously the Woodie. In fact, in 2006, on May 15th, the city of Huntington Beach declared the Woodie as the official car of Surf City, USA.
Kids who are interested in surfing usually start early in life. And when you're early in life, you have a cheap job, no job, you don't have any money. Any money you have, you want to spend with your friends or going out or having a surfing experience. So cheap cars and surfers go together. And I think the way the Woodie got started as a surf vehicle was that they were throwaway vehicles after the war. These Woodies were from the 30s and into the 40s, and by the time the 50s came, they were old cars, and back then you could buy old cars for $10 or $15, maybe $20. And so the value of the Woodie was that it was cheap and that it was utilitarian, in that it was a big box basically on wheels, and you could take the seats out, throw them away, and put all the boards and stuff you wanted inside. So I think the beginnings of the Woodie as a surfmobile was steeped in practicality, utility, and low cost.
Everybody supposes that we sat around like, God, I think it's a great idea to write a song about surfing. No, we just needed something to write about. Well, what do we know about? Well, we don't know much about relationships, so we can't sing those boy-girl relationships. Anyway, everybody else has been singing them. What do we know anything about? I wonder if anybody would be interested about, we drive cars. We do go to the beach a lot. I wonder if we could write a song about going to the beach.
They didn't call it surf music. At that time, they just called it music. But I think once the Beach Boys came along and Jan and Dean, that evoked a whole feeling of surf culture.
Surf culture, to my way of thinking, has always been sort of its own counterculture. In other words, it rejects the formality of established systems. It goes with the cool, laid-back approach rather than the orchestrated, formalized approach. And so, to some extent, I think the cars that surfers chose, and maybe choose today, reflect that as well. A lot of surfers, their entire life is surfing, and so they fit life around surfing rather than surfing around life.
Then all of a sudden you hear, the Beach Boys do what they did. We heard their very first song, Surfing, that sounded a lot like our early doo-wop songs. Maybe that does make sense. Kind of went, okay. Kind of sounds like a good idea. We don't have any better choices. It's as simple as that.
If I look back at it, I think that probably car culture as we know it, modern car culture today, started probably immediately post-war, like in 1946 or so. I think that surfing culture came along probably 10 or 12 years later, maybe popularized beginning in 1958 and moving forward from there. And surf music probably started with Jan and Dean and the Beach Boys in the very early 60s, 62, 63, 64. So I believe it was sort of a 1, 2, 3 development of those three topics. They all still exist today. Car culture is as strong or stronger than it's ever been, although its form is perhaps a little bit different. Surfing is way stronger than it's ever been worldwide. Music, of course, is music. So they're all prosperous today, but I don't really think there's any such thing as surf music today anymore. And I also don't think there's any such thing as car music today anymore. Those two genres, I think, came and went in a period of perhaps 5 years, because the first surf music came in probably 63, and by 67, when the psychedelic era started, it was history. Car songs were probably even a shorter run, maybe 62 through 66, 63 through 66, somewhere in there. As powerful and memorable as those things were today, I think they were blips on the radar screen.